All right. First question up, and all three of these that I have to read this week are about relationships. This one is from Anonymous. Says, I met a girl online about 5 months ago, and I kind of like her now in a special way. I've met her twice now. I told a common friend about that, and she helped me out. But now that friend is telling me that there's a very little chance that this will work out because she thinks the girl just wants to stay in a friendship. Yes, my friend. Well, at this point, this is an easy one. You definitely want to listen to your friend because she knows. Obviously, this girl either isn't attracted to you, or what is probably more likely is that she's already put you into the friend zone. So if you weren't around for the previous advice columns where I've discussed this, a lot of guys know what this is, so do girls. The friend zone is something really simple. Women kind of have two compartments in their brain, usually, when it comes to men, and there's the friend side of the brain, and there's the romantic side of the brain. Whenever you first meet a woman, obviously, within the first 10 minutes of interacting with you, she's going to decide which side of that fence you're on. And this is mostly true, not always. There's always exceptions to the rule, but most women will make that decision within the first 10 minutes of meeting you. So here's the deal, man. It sounds like you've got stuck in the friend zone, like a lot of us have done. I've done it many times in my life. It took me a long time to learn this. The reason why you got stuck in the friend zone might not have to do with the fact that she's not attracted to you or something like that. It's usually that guys don't escalate fast enough. Usually, if they like a girl, they're going to try to build a friendship first and then try to use that to somehow parlay it into a romantic relationship. In my experience, this doesn't work often, guys. Again, because you really, if you look at it this way, you've got 10 minutes to make your feelings clear. And here's the deal. So this is called escalation. If you want to stay out of the friend zone, guys, my advice is to escalate immediately towards romantic. Like even when you're first meeting somebody, once you've qualified them, meaning you make sure they're not like a bitch or something or crazy, if you decide you like somebody, escalate immediately. Immediately get close to them. Start showing signs that you're interested in them and that you're interested in a romantic relationship. Whether this is, casually touching them, holding their hand, coming in really close when talking to them. Make it clear to the girl what your intentions are. I think most guys are just too scared to do that. You got to let them know what they're dealing with right off the bat. And so, come on strong right away. Escalate, meaning take it from friendship or acquaintance to romantic as fast as you can. So there will be, I'm sure, lots of questions on this later, but it's all about escalation, guys. If you don't want to get stuck in the friend zone, be honest, come at them, let them know how you feel immediately. And then if they're not interested, whatever, and then you can be friends. But if you're interested, try to escalate first. That's my 2 cents on that. Next up, looks like this one, is this anonymous too? Yep, this one's also anonymous. Okay. This one says, it's been almost 4 years since I got dumped by the love of my life. She moved on immediately, but I still find myself alone, and it's really getting hard. I've tried to date, and it always ends in disaster. I used to be quite the ladies' man in my youth, and I never had a problem meeting women before, but I can't seem to find the confidence anymore. Now I've basically stopped trying, but the loneliness is getting worse. What happened to me? All right, well, first off, cheers. Sorry. All right, this is pretty hard. Well, okay, it's clear that right now your mojo is broken. Obviously, you were severely hurt, and you're still not over that, and that's okay. And a lot of people find themselves in this situation. All right, Florian, have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Says, I would think that right now for this questioner, what has happened to me, he says, well, your mojo is broken and you've lost your confidence, obviously, and you're lonely. Okay, and that happens to a lot of us. But there's really there's only one way out of this. Oh, nice. Well, Soul, thank you very much. Welcome. You caught us at the McVie segment, so Bear with us, but this is a really good question. For those of you who are just joining us, this guy was dumped 4 years ago by the love of his life and hasn't really been able to date since, is super lonely and can't get his mojo back. Well, I get that. All right, so this is really common. It happens to all of us, but how do you get out of this? Well, time for one, but really the most important thing is I've noticed in life that the moment that you finally are comfortable being alone, and after years of torment and loneliness, and this is gonna be with you for a while, man. I mean, it's gonna hurt, but I think you're gonna find that the moment that you're finally comfortable on your own, that you're finally happy and you don't need a relationship, and you're solid in yourself, that's the moment that all of a sudden a beautiful woman will probably appear in your life. But you can't think about that. I mean, you have to be once you finally make peace with the fact that you're alone, and make peace with it as if you'll be alone forever. I mean, just really go deeply into that, and then see what else in life is worth living and focus your energy on that, bettering yourself. So, moral of the story is you don't get what you want in life until you really stop wanting it. Has anyone else ever noticed that the time that you really get interest and opportunities from the opposite sex is when you're happy without them? Why is that? Good night, Asin Mariva. Thank you very much for the sub and for all the love, and we'll see you next show, okay? And sorry about all the blab, but I think this stuff is important. But in any case, I mean, has anyone else noticed that? You only get what you want when you finally are happy without it. Now, every spiritual teaching on earth has been talking about this for thousands of years, from Buddhism to whatever. But really, here's the truth. So the reason I think that why you're not having success dating now, even 4 years afterwards, is because you still are coming from a place of loneliness and neediness. Now, people, especially women, can smell that energy. So when you go up and talk to a girl, they can feel that you're lonely, and what that smells like is neediness. It's like you want something from them. Until you can get rid of that and you don't need anything, you don't want anything from them, and you're happy on your own, then you're probably going to keep running into this issue because women are very intuitive and they can smell that stuff. So anyway, of course, you're not going to find a solution to this until you get happy on your own. Then what you thought you needed before, in fact, I think even Jesus put this in the Bible. I don't usually quote Christian scripture, but Jesus said, if you want something, act as if you already have it, right? Something like that. Yeah, Executive 06 says, yep, you don't need sex. Life fucks you every day. That's that's great. I love it. That's wonderful. But that's kind of my take on this. So first of all, you got to get happy, get comfortable, work on yourself. And once you don't care about it anymore and you've finally accepted the fact that you'll be lonely for the rest of your life, that's when you're going to get the greatest woman you've ever met. Just trust me on that. And last up, this is not going to be easy for you, because I've found that in my life, like think back to the time that when you were a kid, when you were, say, 9 years old playing with toys, you were totally happy and you didn't even know what relationships were. You didn't know what women were, right? Get back in that mindset. The problem is that now, once you've opened Pandora's box and you know what it's like to be in a love relationship, you can't close that box again. There's going to be a hole inside you there forever, really, and it'll only be filled if you're in a relationship. But that doesn't have to be your whole life. Accept that hole is there and be fine. Be like, all right, I don't need this. Just watch what happens when you accept it. It's a miracle. So that's what I got. Thank you again for having the courage to write about this stuff and send it to me, because it's amazing. And that last one especially comes from my experience. It ain't going to be easy because you've already opened Pandora's box, but you're going to get what you want when you finally stop wanting it, I assure you. Every woman that's been worth a damn in my life has come in right when I didn't want a relationship, right when I was like, fine, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. And the reason why is really simple, because if you're not needy and, if you're not lonely and if you don't put out that vibe to people, then confidence and self-reliance is a very attractive energy. And I assume that is why in my life, I've always, found my best relationships when I wasn't looking for them. Pretty simple philosophy, right? So that's my take. Thanks again, guys, for this. I really enjoy this stuff, and I appreciate you. Now let's check out chat and see what the crew has to say. Tam Tam, hi, sweetie. Tam Tam comes in and says, the way I see it is everything is good in small doses. And once you find love, that soon turns into a burning desire to bury them in the backyard. You're absolutely right, Princess Tam Tam. That actually, I believe that there's a Buddhist saying. Yes, in fact, I believe it might have been the Buddha. The Buddha actually said there are two ways to be miserable in this life. One is getting what you want, and the other is not getting what you want. You know what I mean? So like you're damned if you do. The human ego, the grass will always be greener on the other side. Have you noticed that when you're in a relationship, it's when you're thinking about getting out of it. And when you're out of it, all you can think about is getting back into one. It's the human ego. That's how it goes. But I like executive words. Fantastic! Fantastic. Thank you for the host. Hi, sweetie. Somebody throw out a checkout alert for this young lady. She is a wonderful musician and just a sweetheart all around. So throw that out. Thank you. Welcome. You're just in time for some relationship discussion. Let's check this out. And also, Avas LOL, thank you for the follow and welcome to the family. Airplay says wise words. I hate to be patient. Yeah, so do I. And I love executive's statement of, yep, you don't need sex. Life fucks you every day. I get that. And Lurky says, yeah, for now. Well, thank you, Fantastic. I appreciate it. I wish the U.S. sold Tam Tams. I know, huh? You're right, Lazy. Well, thank you very much, guys, for hanging in there. I think I learned a lot from those questions, so thanks very much. And so for our two questioners tonight, questioner number one who liked a girl and ended up in the friend zone, remember to escalate. If you're interested in somebody, especially as a man, escalate quickly. It doesn't really matter for women. I mean, women aren't bound by these rules as much, but for a man, let him know how you feel and, start attempting to turn it into a romantic relationship as soon as you can. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the friend zone, buddy. Good luck, and thank you for writing to me about that. Just as a recap, for those of you who weren't here, the next questioner had been dumped after 4 years ago by the love of his life, and he hasn't been able to move on since. He's been trying to date, but it sucks, and he's lost his mojo, and what happened to him. Just a quick recap on that one. Obviously, yes, his mojo is broken. You're never going to get past this until you finally actually get comfortable with being lonely. That way you don't project loneliness and neediness into others when you're trying to talk to people, especially girls. Now that you've opened the box, you can't go back. You can't unlearn what you've learned, but get comfortable being single and pretend like it's going to be for the rest of your life and watch what happens. And, well, that's just my experience. So I love you guys. Thanks again, and let's get back to the music. Plock says, can you play piano, Mac? I can play piano. I don't do it very often, but I can. I've got a few songs on it, and I do have another mic here that I might be able to actually get set up. I should probably test it. All right, Airplays, good night. Thank you so much for suffering through the intellectualism with me. Let's see what Vlog Watcher says. It says, I think ignorance truly is bliss in situations like this. I may have the urge to sometimes wish I could find a lady who can put up with me, but the urge is always less when you don't know what it feels like. I agree, Vlog. That's what I mean. Like, once you open Pandora's box, you're screwed. I mean, I really wish, there are times in my life, especially right now, I'm going through kind of a rough time. There are times in my life that I wish I never would have opened that box. I wish I never would have messed with women. But that's just what people say when they're hurt. But really, once you go down that road, you can't ever undo that. Mr. Vlog Watcher, you are very, very right. So, in any case, all right.